Muzan Kibutsuji, the main villain of Demon Slayer, so far has been shrouded in mystery mostly. It's just in the latest season, which was the Swordsmith Village arc, his backstory was revealed. Yet there is pretty much more to talk about him. So of course, in this video, I'll be going to explain his entire backstory, which will of course have some minor spoilers, but if you don't care for any, then you can watch without any problem. So let's begin. Muzan was born in Japan's Heian era to a constant struggle to survive on account of his fertility. His heart stopped multiple times in his mother's womb, and when he first entered the world, he was deemed stillborn. Stillborn means a baby who is born dead. He escaped death by releasing his first cries. Throughout his young life, he struggled with illness, and that led to his thanatophobia. Thanatophobia means an extreme fear of death or the dying process. You might be scared of your own death or the death of a loved one. Psychotherapy can help most people overcome this disorder. As a young man, Muzan was diagnosed with a disease that would kill him before he reached the age of 20. The doctor treating Muzan gave him a special experimental medicine, but it appeared to have failed. Enraged by his worsening condition, Muzan killed him. However, it was only after killing the doctor did he realize that the medicine was actually working and had helped him acquire a strong body. He realized he needed to consume the flesh of humans to survive, but was not bothered by this. However, his new, more serious problem is that he was unable to walk in sunlight anymore, as doing so burned him severely, even realizing that it would kill and turn him into ashes. He deeply resented the thought of having to spend the rest of his life avoiding sunlight during the day and having going out at night. And it was only then he came to truly regret his foolish decision to kill the doctor before the latter had finished treating him with his medicine. Upon conducting research on the contents of the medicine that the doctor had made for him, he discovered that it contained a rare component called the blue spider lily. Believing that if he consumed one, it could nullify his weakness to sunlight. He searched the entire country for the flower but couldn't find it, as the only person who knew about them was the doctor he killed, and that Muzan was unaware that it only bloomed during daytime for at most 2-3 days a year. Obsessed with walking at daytime, even though he had obtained great power, Muzan considered himself to be imperfect and wanted to be rid of his weakness to sunlight. This desire eventually became an obsession that he would chase for the next 1,000 years, and with the search for the blue spider lily going nowhere, he started to use his blood to turn people into demons under his control, hoping that one of them would eventually find the blue spider lily, or creating more demons. He hoped that one day one of them would be able to withstand sunlight. Once this happened, he could take their immunity to sunlight for himself by consuming them, and then finally achieve his goal of conquering the sun and becoming truly immortal. In his early years as a demon, Muzan settled down with 5 different women. However, because of his lack of empathy and sensitivity as a demon, he verbally abused all 5 of his wives to the point it drove them all to commit suicide. Muzan found a young girl named Tamayo who was afflicted with a disease that threatened her life. She encounters Muzan and, wishing to see her children grow up, allows him to transform her. Unused to her new body, she inadvertently killed her own family to survive, as well as another group of people. This decision haunted her to no end, and she became resentful and hateful of Muzan. But due to Muzan's immense power, she was unable to kill him with success. Muzan enslaved Tamayo, and she followed him around as a lowly servant. Sometime after, he finds Michikatsu Sugekini, a marked demon slayer and user of the moon-breathing style. Michikatsu wanted to become more powerful than his brother, and loathed the fact that his status of being marked meant his life would soon end. Muzan issued a compromise. He wished to have a breath-using demon, and in return he could live forever and perfect his skill. Michikatsu agreed, and Muzan gave him an extremely high concentration of his blood, emerging 3 days later transformed and taking the name Kokushibo. Later, Muzan and Tamayo would encounter Yurichi Sogekini, who was Michikatsu's younger twin brother and another demon slayer. The moment the two met, Yurichi sensed Muzan's malice and anger, comparing him to boiling magma. Simultaneously, Muzan found nothing in Yurichi that resembled something dangerous and didn't fear his opponent. Already satisfied having Kokushibo as his subordinate, Muzan tried to kill Yurichi without warning. He, however, was able to dodge the blows and discerned Muzan's weak spots, 7 hearts and 5 brains that moved freely around his body. Yorichi combined all his forms into one strike and turned his blade bright red, enabling him to cut through all of Muzan's weaknesses and overpower him. For the first time in his life, Muzan became stunned, unable to heal. He sat in a pool of his blood and angrily stared at Yorichi, ignoring his question on what he thought was the value of a life. When Yorichi moved forward to kill him, Muzan used the remains of whatever power he had left and divided his body into a powerful burst. Through Yorichi was able to destroy nearly all the fragments. The pieces he missed escaped and allowed Muzan to regenerate again. By this encounter, and with Kokushibo's assistant, the two slaughtered anyone who used sun breathing in the hopes of preventing another demon slayer that had the power to kill him. They were almost successful and able to nearly exterminate sun breathing entirely. Greatly fearful of the man he considered the real demon, Muzan never directly confronted the demon slayers again and sent demons to do his bidding for the most part. He remained fearful of Yuriji even after his death. Muzan hears news of a massacre involving the violent deaths of 67 people. He traveled to the village before meeting the culprit, an 18-year-old boy named Hakuji. He voiced his disappointment as he believed a demon had committed the act instead of a human. Hakuji threatened him but was silenced by Muzan piercing his hand through his head. The Demon King spoke of his plan to form a faction of 12 powerful demons and asked the young man if he was able to withstand the amount of blood he was given. Hakuji, broken by his loss and with nothing else left, didn't resist and became the demon Akaza. In time, Muzan eventually succeeded in creating his faction, which would eventually become known as the 12 Kizuki. He transformed multiple demons and gave them the chance to join his group, rewarding them with a larger share of his blood to make them more powerful. Split into two groups of 6 known as the Upper Moons and Lower Moons. The Uppers remained unchanged for centuries. The Lowers, on the other hand, constantly changed as they were frequently killed by the Demon Slayers, to his growing disappointment. The Kizuki, who he personally transformed, were Kokoshibo, Akaza, a nihilistic but convivial cult leader, a prolific and heinous criminal sentenced to death, a dying child murderer, a frail young boy, and a sadistic young man who he initially devoured but eventually transformed. In time, he allowed for the Upper Moons to be able to recruit humans by giving them their blood, but they had to be approved by Muzan himself before becoming full-fledged members. More demons would eventually join, such as a misanthropic brother and sister hailing from the red light district slums, a twisted and murderous musician, a moody writer, and a traitorous former demon slayer. Muzan often gave random civilians his blood in order to create at least one demon with the power to withstand sun, as a backup plan in case he still hadn't located the blue spider lily. While some painfully died due to the immense power of his blood, destroying them from the inside, others were successfully turned into demons but had lost all their memories as humans and became either cruel and murderous or feral and beastly. This included a single mother of 7 who killed 5 of her own children while in a mindless state before being killed by her eldest. During the Taisho era, Muzan was able to locate the Kamado family, who were keepers of the sun-breathing technique. When Tajiro Kamado was away at town, Muzan attacked and proceeded to inject them with his blood, hoping that he could turn them into demons and could withstand sunlight. However, he was disappointed when the family didn't survive and believed that creating a demon capable of withstanding sunlight was not so easy after all. He left their home, unaware that Nezuko Kamado survived and became a demon, and from here, after a very long time, she got immune to sun, and when Muzan got to know about it, he was the most happiest man at that time. And of course, without any hesitation, he decided to devour her. And I guess from here you pretty much know what has happened in the story. So this is it for this video, and if you want to know how Nezuko got immune to the sun, then you can check out this video. I have explained everything in detail. Thank you.